I did a live this. Oh, sorry, we're recording.
But you're good. I can edit it out.
Yep. I did a live this morning, and people saw it, and they're just asking me questions about it. I'm like, I hate when I talk about things I haven't talked about before on live, and then they're asking me questions now. So,
I have yet to go live.
we'll do it
Haven't
together
done that one
sometime.
yet.
You'll have to try it
Sure,
with
I'm
me.
down.
'Cause I'm kind of new to it too, and I'm trying to get more comfortable. But it'd be nice to be on with somebody else who's also new to it too. So,
Sure.
yeah,
I'm all about rolling with the punches. Like, just let's go
let's do
ad
it.
lib, no problem.
Yep, I like it.
So, all right.
Let's do this.
Welcome to Crash Podcast, episode number 11 with Ryan Patrick from Rock Bottom with Ryan. We connected on Instagram because I really dig his podcast. I love his message. I like what he's doing. And I was like, hey, so let's trade some episodes. And here we are. So
Love it.
that being said, Ryan, please introduce yourself a little bit.
My name is Ryan, and I do a podcast called Rock Bottom with Ryan, and really excited to be here today and meet you. And I'm so glad you reached out because I saw checking out some of your episodes. You're doing a lot of the same stuff and just creating some more, putting recovery in the community out there for other people to listen and resonate with. And yeah, I'm from state of Idaho, originally from Seattle area, and I learn how to trade stocks. I can't say I'm that great at it right now, but I there's good days and bad days. Do that as a part of my income, and I've been taking this podcast incredibly seriously. I love going to the gym. I'm a member of the AA community. That saved my life. Spent 45 days in treatment and haven't not had a drink since. And I've been sober since September 28th, 2024. So I'm going on 2 years now.
That is awesome.
Yeah,
That's
got 21
awesome.
months.
Congrats, dude. That's a feat. That is definitely a feat. So let's get into that a little bit. How about life starting? Like one of the questions I like to ask is, from my own personal experience, I noticed addictive tendencies in retrospect well before drugs and alcohol came into the picture. So how did life start for you? Like, did you notice things like that? Did you see, now looking back, a pattern evolving and which drove you down that road?
I think so, because since I've gotten sober, I've had a lot of time to reflect. And that started, like, I would say I started actually facing a lot of my traumas and things I went through maybe 10 days into treatment. I remember it was day 10 so vividly because that's when, like, I just feel like my eyes open. I'm like, wow, this is why I became a POS for so long, or this is why my whole life was impacted by this addiction. And I just started kind of reflecting on the background of my story, and I minimized it my entire life, what my childhood was like, what my teen years were like. And I don't know if you want a little background of my childhood, but
Go
my
for it.
parents, I didn't really have any good memories of them being around each other. They were both traveled a lot as salespeople, and I was kind of spent a lot of time with babysitters and stuff like that, according to some things my grandmother told me. And they were gone a lot. And then my memories I have of them together weren't good. They were I think there was a lot of alcohol in the relationship, and I had a lot of family members that drank. So I just recall a lot of alcoholism from an early age and didn't witness any healthy relationships. And they got divorced when I was 7, and they both went into relationships that turned out to be pretty unhealthy. So I didn't witness any real happiness. And I think that impacted me and my outlook on relationships and kind of justified drinking. I didn't drink at a very young age, like I've heard a lot of people do. I kind of avoided it in high school. I only drank 3 times before I was, I think, 18. So, and they were all bad experiences. One time I got my teeth busted out. Another time I had another freak accident. And another time I just had a hangover that I thought I was going to die. And I was like, I don't like this stuff. And then when I went to college, after I felt kind of, I guess I was kind of insecure and uncomfortable in my own skin all through my life until I got to school and discovered alcohol was like a good release for that. Like I put on a really good mask. Like I don't think a lot of people that knew me in high school knew I was as insecure and uncomfortable as I really was. I had social anxiety like there was no tomorrow. Like it was hard for me to be in crowds or be the center of attention. And I was good at sports and stuff and had friends and all that, but I just never really liked myself in a lot of ways. So that carrying into college and just discovering this magic liquid called alcohol, I was like, oh wow, man, I actually kind of feel cool now. I feel like I can say anything now. I can go talk to that person or that person, or and it just opened a whole new wave of opportunities for me. And I decided, it's kind of weird, but not long after that, I told myself in my head, I'm like, I'm gonna be an alcoholic because it's good. I like being an alcoholic. It's really sad that I thought that way so young. So,
You're not the only one.
yeah. But just to admit it and kind of know, like, I want to be one because this is the only mind state I've ever felt like I want to be in. That's really sad. And it's just, I felt like life was easier, but turns out life gets a lot more difficult. So
Yeah,
it's a
this is
very
very
progressive
true.
disease. Yeah.
Yeah, I can definitely identify with actually a few parts of your story. Minus the drinking early. My parents got divorced when I was 8 and went on to get into relationships a bit more healthy, but yeah, not around alcohol there often. I 100% can identify with that.
Yeah. It was definitely something that didn't start off that bad. It started off with partying hard, going out. My buddies and I would go to the gym after class and be like, let's get a 30 pack of Bush Light, which is,
Yup.
it was called, we went to the school, Washington State University, and over there it was called Pullman water. And it was 30
Oh yeah.
cans for $12.99 at the time, which I feel kind of old now. I'm turning 39 tomorrow. And $12.99 for 30 beers is crazy. So we would just do that every single night. But I didn't think I was an alcoholic. I'm like, well, I'm in college. I can drink all I want. But the
Yeah.
progression was
College and drinking,
ridiculous.
that's peanut butter
Yeah.
and jelly, man.
Yeah, exactly. So I just didn't think much of it at the time. It really didn't get bad until, well, I turned 21, once I could start buying it, and then finished college, then having my own time, nobody monitoring me, nobody around. That's where like it started to pick up even more, and that's when drugs came in. So I don't know where you want me to go with
Ah,
that.
okay. Well, if you don't mind telling the story, I'm curious. Let's back up a little bit to that teeth smashing in. That's got to be something you never forget.
Oh,
And
it's
ironically so, I don't know if I mentioned it to you, but I recently lived in Post Falls for about 4 years and will
cool.
eventually retire there. I love Idaho. Northern
Yeah,
Idaho is beautiful.
it is. It really is beautiful. I like it over here, and there's some good places like Post Falls and Coeur d'Alene and
Yep.
all these different areas. I think Idaho's slightly underrated. I used to kind of bash it when I first moved here, but I was because it was a place I moved to escape the distractions of the city. But
Okay.
I actually grown to like it. I like the Snake River right next to me, and it's just a lot of good people out here too. And I have a lot of family here, so I have no complaints about Idaho anymore. So I'm glad you're
So
going to
Snake
retire there.
River, you're more central then?
Yeah, like Lewiston. Yeah,
Okay. Yep. I
yeah.
know right where that's at.
Um, right on the border, kind of from Clarkston. So it's
Okay.
yeah, it's a good little town, like 30,000. So yeah.
Yeah, I worked at a country club up in Coeur d'Alene on Lake Coeur d'Alene for a couple years, and then I opened up a restaurant, and I was the chef there for a couple years, right in like right by the Spokane River in downtown Coeur d'Alene, like by the movie theater and stuff.
Oh, okay,
So
that's awesome.
yeah,
Yeah, Coeur d'Alene's beautiful.
love it,
Good
love
place to
it.
open a country club too. So
It was yeah, it was a lot of fun during the summers, a lot of fun, and I miss the
yeah,
mountains so bad.
yeah, exactly. Probably not good for drinking, I would assume. So.
I was sober when I was up there, so it wasn't too bad.
Oh, you were? Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. How long have you been sober again?
My sobriety date is October 30th, 2013.
Okay. See,
So
people like you
I also
inspire the heck out of
I
me.
got a
13
couple
years.
years on you too. I'll be 45 later this year.
Wow,
But
congratulations. You got sober in your
thank you
early
very
30s.
much.
That's huge. Like that's when I first started trying to get sober was age 33 is my 3 is my lucky number. So I told myself at 33, I'm going to really start controlling it. And I did
Hmm.
control it for 4 years. And then I just fell off really hard, but I can tell you about that later.
But
But
yeah,
the teeth
we'll get
breaking
into that.
story, the teeth
I
breaking
mean,
story was an accident.
they always say when we enjoy it, we don't control it. When we control it, we don't enjoy it. So I mean,
Yeah.
I think that's true for a lot of things in life, honestly, but definitely
Yeah.
chemicals. All
But
right, yeah, I want to hear about those teeth.
okay, these teeth have a lot of stories. These front teeth, four front teeth have been knocked out 3 times now for 3 different reasons. And the first
Okay.
time was really it was mainly chipped off completely because I was drinking out of a 40 ounce of Old English, and it was my first time getting a buzz. And I had a couple of friends playing this weird fist slapping game, drunk next to each other. And I was taking a sip, and one of their elbows goes straight into the bottle while
Oh,
it's in my mouth. And it just goes straight into my mouth, bloody nose, bloody lip, everything. So that was my first real buzz. And I was just like, all right, I hate this stuff. And it was a complete
damn.
accident, though, honest mistake
Oh,
by my buddies. And nobody took care of me, of course, or cared since they were drinking. And they're just like, oh, go sit on the couch. And I was like, all right, well, I don't
jerks.
like drunk people either. And like, these are even my friends. And then, so I got those repaired then. And then later on, I got thrown off of a balcony, which I've told on my show before, by some people that were seeking some revenge for a fight I had gotten in. They followed me home, threw me off of my own balcony, which was up on the second story. And
How?
they said, and I was completely intoxicated at the time. The doctors say that had I not been intoxicated, I would have been paralyzed or maybe dead. So they said that alcohol saved my life that day. That's the only time you hear about alcohol saving your life. and
Yeah, that and
my
car accidents. Yeah.
and I have pictures of that if you want me to send them to you to put on the show. um, I looked terrible. And then the other time was the recent time prior to getting sober for 90 days. Then I relapsed. Then I got sober this time. But I fell down some concrete stairs when I went on a jog in the middle of the night trying to get sober. I told myself I'm done drinking, but this was after 12 drinks. And I was like, all right, good time for a run. And then I collapsed down some stairs, woke up, lip was hanging down, my eye was hanging out of its socket. This eye is still slightly blind to this day. So it's like, it was crazy. I'm a freak accident waiting to happen. The movie Final Destination is my least favorite movie just because
I
I
can
feel like
imagine.
I'm just waiting for something to hit me. So,
Oof.
yeah,
Well, the
but
difference is you've survived all yours.
I survived, and I somehow don't have a disfigured body or face or anything, so I got lucky.
No, I
So,
would have never guessed all of those
yeah.
wonderful excursions looking at you.
If I shave, you can see a big scar down my mouth, but I keep the beard for that reason. So,
Eh,
uh,
gotta do what you gotta
but
do.
but hey, I'm alive. That's what matters. So, yeah,
Yeah.
yep.
All right, let's jump back forward a little bit. You said college and 30 packs, and then into or after college, drugs came into the scene.
I had in college, I had dabbled with, smoked a lot of marijuana, which
Yeah.
for some reason I don't. Obviously, I never smoked today. I never will again. But I minimize it because it just didn't seem like a big deal at the time. Because I still maintain grades and still got stuff done. But I did smoke throughout college. I did do cocaine. I would say times I could count how many times I did it. Did mushrooms here and there, but nothing like to the point where it was an addiction. But it was when I turned 22, 23 out of college where I started going out to clubs more, and I made friends. One of the worst things you can do is make good friends with your dealer. And was buying just a little bag of cocaine just for my buddies, and I just found this guy at a club, and he and I exchanged numbers, and I ended up becoming such good friends with him. I house sat for him, and he had a whole marijuana growery. He had bricks of cocaine, and I just became buddies with him. And of course, when you become buddies, the way they're going to pay you for favors is in drugs. So it's like I started
Yep.
getting free drugs. Next thing you know, it just turns into a consistent habit. I'm doing it on a Saturday night, and it turns into I'm doing it in the morning to wake up. And then it just was a huge progression of friends. My friends group started to change. My friends that I had from college started to kind of see that I was partying much harder than they were, and they were starting to settle down and get families. And I'm just still through my 20s partying and trying to see who will hang out with me next, and going through friends like people change clothes. It's
Yep.
it was, I feel really bad to this time because I just, not like I was a horrible friend, I don't think per se, but my choices were different. My schedule was different. My party ways were consistent. I was going out Wednesday through Sunday looking for an excuse to party. Like, oh, there's a Mariners game on. It's time to go to the dive bar and do some drugs
Yep.
and enjoy. And it's
Yeah.
like every excuse I could find to keep partying. And that's where like the drugs just kind of went hand in hand with alcohol. I rarely ever did cocaine without alcohol, but when you're drinking from morning to sundown or even
Yeah.
until you pass out, I'm just like, all right, need a line to keep me going. So
Yep.
pretty sad how that progressed. But I did cut that out, cocaine out of the picture when I was, I think I did it twice in the last 7-8 years, maybe 3 times. Just because I'd gone to a Seahawks game the last time I did it, and I just told myself I'll never touch it again. And I'd gone to a game. I was casually doing it with the key in the stall, and I hear the stall door open and turn around, and I turn around just, and there's a little kid standing there, and I felt so
Oh.
guilty. And he's there with his dad, and his dad goes, "Oh,
Oh.
come on, man." And I'm like, "I'm so sorry. I just flushed it, walked out, apologized, and I just said I'm never touching drugs again because I feel like such a piece of crap right now." So yeah.
That's a rough one.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was enough. That was a wake up call I needed to just never touch it again. So
That's a rough one. That pulls
yeah,
at the heartstrings.
because I can only
Ouch.
imagine being a father and being in that, witnessing that, and just seeing this, you know, dipshit. Excuse my language,
Yeah.
but
Oh, dude.
just
I
doing this at a
Don't worry
game,
about the
and
language.
yeah, I just felt extremely low, and I felt like I owed it to society to just not do drugs anymore, and I continued drinking. I think drinking even got worse after that, though. So it was kind of just trading in for, yeah. But that was my
One's a little
cocaine
bit
days.
more socially acceptable.
Yeah. Not to mention all the money that it took away from me, the long nights, the paranoia, the friends,
Yeah.
the stories that came along, the escapades with strangers, and just all these things that I just look back and I'm like, I would never put myself in those positions ever again. Ever, especially sober.
Mhm.
So
Yeah. But at the
uh
time, seemed like a great
uh,
idea.
at the time it was normal. There's so many times I should have been murdered or dead or kidnapped, or I just put myself in all these weird situations that I can't even look back at, and just I don't even recognize that guy. So
I can empathize 1,000% to that.
yeah.
That's a that's a number.
Did you have
All
your
right, brother. So,
lifestyle with cocaine as well, or is it kind of
oh,
the
it went quite a bit further than yours.
really?
Yeah, I mean, it started out as a little fun during bars, and then obviously made friends with the dealer. And then because I made friends with the dealer, I worked in restaurants, and I knew a lot of people that wanted it. And I knew a girl who came from money, and she lived in the apartment below me. So she would buy it, I would do it for free, and I would help get rid of it. And then
So you got a
that
nice little
was,
system going.
yeah, it worked out. And we essentially did it free for a number of months. And then I just kind of casually did it here and there. And then fast forward a bunch of years and was still doing it. And actually, the previous episode to this was the guy who got me into shooting it up. And that lasted about 4 months, and I almost died once or twice. And then I was like, okay, maybe I shouldn't do that. And then I think after I put down the needle, I did it over the course of a couple years, like, I don't know, 10, 11 times. And then it was just like, yep, that's not for me anymore. And I just went back to booze.
Yep, I totally get it. Sometimes you just hit that point where it's just not fun anymore. And I never
Yeah.
went to the needle, and I'm always like curious because I'm covered in tattoos, but I'm scared shitless of needles. So I don't know how. I always know, I've always heard that's like really intense high, but I never
Oh,
got to
my
that point.
goodness.
I've seen people
Well,
do it, but yeah.
you know what the normal high feels like. Lasts about 45 minutes to an hour. You feel like you're king of the world, and then you
Yeah.
hate life after that.
Yeah.
So have that high. And by no means am I glamorizing this. This is just my personal description of how I felt doing it. right after I slammed it, it was like a full body orgasm for about 5 to 7 minutes, and then the normal high. So it's very enticing. But as my buddy said, there's never any regularity with the dose, because I would get the same amount from the same hookup all the time.
Yeah.
One time it was stronger than usual, and I ended up fish flopping on the floor for like, I don't know, 5 or 10 minutes. Complete awareness, but no control over my body. Fish
Wow.
flopping, and then blacked out. And I don't know how long I was out. I mean, I consider that an OD because it was certainly an involuntary reaction. And after I woke up, I still did it 1 or 2 more times, and then realized that after some moment of clarity, realized that I almost died. And I was like, maybe I should put the needle down. But yeah, it's not a prescription pill. There's
yeah.
depending on where you get it, you don't know the cut, you don't know whatever, like, so
Yeah. No idea. I mean, geez, when I was selling it, I used to cut it with, lidocaine and a bunch of crap and stuff, and I just would be like, oh yeah, this one has a little more actual cocaine in it. You never know what you're getting.
No,
That's why it's scary.
B12, lidocaine, baby aspirin,
buy
all
from
sorts
strangers.
of baby laxative, all of it.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's yeah, I went far down that rabbit hole, and I'm glad I drug myself out of it. But it's yeah, and I'm on TRT right now. So the first time that I started doing that, like, I had I forget what it's like, a neuro I forget what it is, neurocompassionate response or something like that. My body was flush, like my face was flush, like it was really weird. I mean, I've gotten over that because it's a regular dosage of a monitored medication now, but it was some kind of feeling when it started.
Yeah, no, I know. Yep, I've heard good things about TRT. So
I honestly, I feel I'm 44 and I'm in the best shape of my life.
It's awesome. That's awesome. It's one thing. It's like when we get over our addictions, we find healthy channels to be addicted to, like exercise. I always liked exercise, but now I appreciate it and I'm more organized with it. So yeah.
I made a post earlier today. Like, I'd rather feel like a train wreck or a train hit me after the day after the gym than feel like a train hit me from a hangover. And one of them's beneficial.
Perfect comparison. Yes, exactly. Even when we struggle to get up and do it, we always feel better afterwards. And so
100%. 100%. Yeah. I mean, working on nutrition, thinking about longevity. I have 2 toddlers upstairs, and not only do I want to be a role model to them, but I want to leave them a legacy.
Yeah.
Both like mentally, spiritually, and however I can externally.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. All right. We were after college, drugs had kind of subsided. You said it's 7 years or so since you did blow. So what was that final period? What did that look like? What did it take for that switch to flip, for that time to happen to where, no, this isn't for me anymore?
For cocaine?
For alcohol.
For alcohol. Oh, geez, there were so many switches. I don't even know where to start. Like my show, I call Rock Bottom with Ryan, because I think there's a rock bottom, but I feel like rock bottom has like a basement and then another level below that and a trap door there. So I hit so many. I got into a marriage with somebody who was a bartender, so that got me into quite the dive bar that I was going to on a regular basis. Had my routine. I'd go to work, go to the gym, go to the bar, go home, same routine. But then when I started a relationship with a bartender, I ended up staying a lot longer. I used to stay and close the bar, and then afterwards, bartenders are on a different schedule, party with them afterwards, and then start waking up extremely tipsy still, and then try to go to work. And it all just kind of started concaving throughout that relationship. And then we got divorced. I relocated over to Idaho, and I started to get it under control. Started to get it to the point where I would count how many drinks I was having. I mean, I knew I was an alcoholic this whole time. I knew I had a problem. I was suffering from withdrawals since I was 21, I think, which is pretty early for a lot of people. A lot of people don't seem to suffer from them.
Especially since you didn't start drinking early.
Yeah,
That's a quick
that's the weird
progression.
part. It quickly progressed and took over my life. I think it mixed with the anxiety, it didn't help either. So I was
Yeah.
always shaky and stuff. And I, after I came out here, I tried to get it under control, started counting my drinks. I would have, this sounds like true alcoholism even when I thought it was controlled, but I would go for a 5 mile run and I would have a drink right afterwards, which is really weird to start my day. So I would start my day with a drink and then and then not drink again until evening, where I'd limit myself to like 5 or 6, which is alcoholism still. And I had that going for a while, and then my little sister passed away. I just did a post about it, actually, of a fentanyl overdose. She was only
Oh, I'm so
27, and
sorry, man.
yeah, I was extremely close with her. We grew up and went through a lot together, and she passed away. That didn't really send me down the dark path that you would think. It actually motivated me to like work harder, but I didn't really process it right away because I was just putting it to the side and just moving forward. Like, really got into working out, extra into working out, got extra focused on learning how to trade stocks, and just occupied my mind 24/7 to the point where I never processed it. And then a couple of years goes by and I finally tell myself I can quit my job. And this is around, I don't know, probably towards the end of COVID lockdown. And I started hearing about all these people working remotely and stuff. And I was kind of like, I'm tired of my day job anyways. I really like, I don't go in there happy all day. I feel like I'm bickering with a couple people that work there. Anyways, I don't feel like, maybe I don't feel that appreciated. But at the time, I'm thankful I had that job. It was a good company, but I started doing work from home, tried to just get business done on my computer. And when you have all that freedom, as a lot of people in lockdown know, what are you going to do? You're going to drink. Nobody's
Yep.
monitoring you. Nobody's pee testing you. So it's like I started up on the whiskey, started popping 4 shots in the morning, and I would count my shots like a organized alcoholic. And then I and then I would justify having drinks during like lunch hour, and then I would have my drinks at night, and I would be like, I just stick to that routine all day, then I'm never going to go overboard. But then I just ended up picking it up a notch. I can't remember exactly what happened, but I started to become extra dependent on whiskey. So I decided this is starting to affect me. There was a point where I ended up in the hospital for too much whiskey, like not too much whiskey, but just my liver and my skin was starting to turn a little yellow, and I ended up in the hospital one night when I had drank way too much on a weekend, and I was by myself, and I started sending out suicidal ideation messages, and which is not like me. I have never in my life thought to commit suicide or end my life. You know, I've had dark places, but I never thought I would do anything. And I hardly remember sending these messages. I don't even know if I do remember. And they were to my father, who he at the time he and I weren't even really talking. We've had an on and off again relationship, so I'm surprised I sent it to him. Sent it to my sister, my other sister who's alive, a couple of friends, and somebody made a wellness call, and the doctors came and found me, and I told them how much I was drinking, and they took me to the hospital, and I stayed there in detox, and they just said my drinking's starting to take away my health and clearly my mental health because I was that depressed. And finally I get out of the hospital and I tell myself, okay, I'm not going to quit drinking. I'm just going to get it under control. And how do I control it? I drink wine. I'm going to go into wine. So I start buying boxes of wine, and
Ah, the
that,
negotiations.
yeah, the negotiations, it was real. And I resort to wine, and I don't know if I called it graduating to wine or demoting to wine, but I thought that was helping, and I would buy these boxes thinking, okay, well, I know there's 32 or 34 glasses of wine in a box. I want to see if I can spread it out throughout the week, because I'm all about math and all that, and calculating stats and stuff. And I started to average like 7 drinks per day, to turned into about 12, then it turned into 15, then it turned into a box was only lasting me 2 days max, which is scary because there's 34 glasses of wine in there. And
Hmm.
I'm realized I'm starting to uh hallucinate, have audible hallucinations, and I stopped working on my computer. I stopped all contact with people. I start to lock myself in my room when there's nobody in the entire house. I started to think that my family, all my family came from different parts of the country. My father lives in one place. My sister lives out in Tennessee. Uh, I thought everybody was congregating in the living room. And this is a story I haven't even talked about on my podcast. So this is the first
Wow.
time people are hearing this. And I thought people were congregating for an intervention in the living room. So I started ordering DoorDash delivery wine and sneaking out to the front and grabbing it and then sneaking into my room when there's nobody in this house.
Wow.
And it got really weird. And then finally, I ended up trying to quit one night where I went on that jog and fell down those stairs, had all those injuries. Then I ended up in the hospital again. I thought that was enough. And then I got 90 days sober after that. So I got 90 days. Then I relapsed hard. After 90 days, I said, I can control this. More negotiating, right? As you know.
Yep. Been there.
And I was like, all right, I'm going to take a sip again, but I'm going to limit to one little juice box of wine per day because I'm all about math and being smart and all that stuff. No, I'm not that smart. And that progressed right back to where I ended. Like it went that fast. In like a 1 week period, I was back to where I was before I was hospitalized. And that got to the point where I'm in the hospital again after I had a seizure in the shower.
Oof.
And
Luckily, you didn't
I
drown.
blocked out. I don't remember anything. Yeah, it was scarier than heck. And I called somebody and I said, can you please take me to the hospital? I've had enough of this. This alcohol is killing me. And that was after that shower was taken after I was trying to drink to get rid of the shakes
Yep.
and the shakes wouldn't go away. So I was like, finally, like, this alcohol is not even helping me anymore. Like, I can't even get rid of the side effects anymore. Like, this isn't fun. And then I took a shower and had that seizure, went to the hospital, um, got a few visitors in the hospital that left such an imprint on me while I was in there suffering, couldn't even hold up a cup of water. And I was just kind of like, okay, I'll go to treatment. I probably need it. Obviously, I don't know how to control this. I went to AA. I started to see the light. I started to make relationships with real good people, and here I am letting them down, letting myself down, letting my higher power down, letting my little sister down who's watching from above. I'm not even that spiritual of a person, but I do believe in a lot of things now that I didn't when I was drinking. And I I surrendered is the best way to put it. And I, with the help of a few people, got myself into a treatment facility for 45 days that saved my life. And I have not had a drink since. And
That is
yeah,
awesome.
that's a long explanation, but there were so many steps to
Yeah.
why I quit, so many like hits to the face, literally and figuratively, that made me want to
Yeah,
stop.
right.
Yeah,
No,
I just
I'm glad you unpacked it, man. It's just another way of demonstrating what all of us in the rooms, in recovery, and in whatever say in so many different words. It takes what it takes.
yeah,
I mean, I
yeah.
have a mini stumbled relapse story of my own, so
Yeah. If we
I
all learned
get
after the
exactly
first
where you're coming from.
lesson, I mean, life would be
Yeah,
so easy. Yeah.
yep. And I don't think you need to question your intelligence by any means. I think people like you and me are too smart for our own good.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
we are so smart, there is a way we will find it.
Yeah.
And
I really thought
after
there was a way.
exhausting every possible way, I you hit it in the heart when you said surrender. Because
Yeah.
my last one wasn't even that bad. Considering all the consequences that have happened before, it wasn't that bad.
Yeah. Yeah. It
Yeah.
didn't get back to where it started or back to where it ended the last time. And people say relapse, it keeps getting worse and worse and worse. And I know it was like that for me, but not like that for everybody. It's just, there's just reminders like, do I really want to go down this route again? And you can stop yourself.
Yeah.
Sounds like that's what happened to
Dude.
you.
Yeah, very different circumstances, same outcomes. Yep.
Yep. Yep.
100%.
Yep.
I mean, I've said it before on my show. I court ordered the last previous to this time, court ordered 18 months, had an ankle bracelet, house arrest, DUI that I wasn't actually driving. I was sleeping in my car, but had a sponsor and lost touch with him. Went back out because, oh, I missed weed. And then, oh, I missed a beer. And then maybe I can have a drink of vodka. 6 months later, it's back to a bottle a day, every single day.
Yeah, that's
And I
exactly how it
finally,
progresses.
some things went down on my birthday, and I had a couple shots the next morning right at the liquor store at the bus stop because I didn't have a license because it was suspended,
Yeah.
just to kill the shakes. And I was gonna go to work, and I'm in fucking tears. And I called the guy who was my sponsor, who I hadn't talked to in 6 months, and I was like, dude, I cannot fucking do this. I can't live like this. And his words to me, and I will never forget, and I still talk to him regularly, I hope it fucking hurts enough this time. And it did.
Yeah. God.
It did.
It's what you need to
I
hear
surrendered.
sometimes. Yeah. Surrender after you get the tough love from a doctor or a family member or
Yeah.
whatever. It's like, gosh, I thought the whole world was giving up on me. And I'm like, okay, fine, I surrender.
Yeah.
uh,
And the one thing that I've come to learn actually within the past few years of sobriety and spiritual journey is it's not that it's not that we lost faith. It kind of is, but it's more that the spiritual world, the friends, the family, they never lost faith in us. They may have stepped back, and in my view, God never lost
yeah.
faith in me. He was always
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. So it sounds like
I
you're
was the one who
spiritual
kept
too. Did
straying.
you get spiritual in sobriety more or?
I kind of was in active addiction. I mean, in my 19 late teens, early 20s, I was big into hallucinogens and the meaning of life and existentialism and all of that. And I mean, I explored a lot of things, Taoism, like paganism, Viking Christianity. But I've come back to Christianity. I'm a non-denominational Christian now. I go to church every Sunday.
Great.
It was God was always waiting for me. I mean, I went and I found a lot of other philosophies, like the philosophy of Taoism. I love it. I really appreciate the perspective. But when it comes to my family, my values, my soul, God's got it.
Yeah. No, that's so well said. I love that. I mean, I definitely believe in a higher power now, and I consider myself a Christian man. And I don't go to church every Sunday, but I do pray, and I catch myself praying so much more than I did back when I was drinking. I was praying for something I wanted when I wanted it. You know, you're only praying out of desperation, but I catch myself praying just for random reasons. I feel like there's always a reason to pray. Pray for that person. That person's having a bad day. Pray for them. So
Yep.
it's good.
Funny thing is, my prayer has come full circle from when I checked myself into treatment for after a year and a half of my life on meth. I don't remember if somebody suggested it to me or not, but the prayer that I said 28 days in treatment, I said it every night. God, put me where you need me.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
And now it's quite a bit more than that, but the sentiment's the same. Like, let me be of service. Let me be a servant to those around you. Let me be a servant to my family. Let me be a servant to people at work.
Yeah. That's such a
Like,
good,
I
yeah,
obviously
exactly.
have made so many wrong turns in my life, so help guide me and let me do the next right thing for somebody else. Because
Yeah.
when
Like
I
doing this podcast. Yeah.
yeah,
Putting the word out
when
there.
my health is right, I go to the gym now regularly. I try to eat right. I monitor my food, which all of that discipline gives me freedom, and I can essentially put myself on the back burner because I'm good. What can I do for you?
Yeah. Exactly. No, it's exactly. Do unto others. So,
Yep.
yeah. Yep.
So,
I'm
dude,
learning a lot in
that's
recovery
awesome.
about spirituality and my higher power and all that. And it's now looking back, I just feel like some of those reminders and rock bottoms, like even I'm almost thinking like when I fell down those stairs, I feel like I was telling myself that day, I'm going to do this on my own again. And I think my higher power was like, nope, nudge me
No, you're
off.
not.
Yeah,
Watch
you're going to
this.
go to the hospital and think about this. I don't know. I feel like there's so many signs. Like I feel like there's signs of my little sister whenever I'm starting to kind of go back to old ways of thinking. And my little sister kind of talks to me in my head. And I feel like there's so many things out there to remind us
Mhm.
that there is something out there. So, yeah.
I, I I couldn't agree more. So, one thing that I know a lot of people struggle with is, as we've said a couple times, relapse. The first after 90 days, after 30 days, like relapse is such an easy pillow to go sleep on when you're struggling with new sobriety. What did new sobriety look like for you? Like right when it started out?
Right when it
Maybe that
started
that
out.
90-day period and this period.
Oh, yeah, early sobriety. So, as alcoholics, we know that when we say we're done, sometimes we're not completely done. So, my I spent those that week in the hospital prior to going to treatment, but there was a 2 week gap there that before I went into treatment, and I was taking those little benzos or whatever they give you out of the hospital to help with the withdrawals. It wasn't enough, so I'm guilty saying that I did go buy alcohol and I did chug some beers before I went to rehab, and I made sure I didn't 24 hours before, so I had peed clean. But uh, those first days in treatment without alcohol, without anything, they were tough. I was hoping they would give me some kind of benzo or something to make life a little easier, but the first 9 days were miserable. I was trying to figure out, it was in this middle of nowhere, place called Gooding, Idaho.
Okay.
If you've heard of that, it's a small
Heard of
town
it.
with a really good treatment facility called the Walker Center. And
Yep. Heard of it.
yeah, and the first 9 days I was trying to figure out how to leave, but I still stayed. I could have walked out somehow, but I didn't. I guess I didn't have anybody in my life that would be willing to pick me up anyways. So I was like, I better stay. And then on day 10, I had to write this. I was I would say I was pretty tough to communicate with those first 9 days. Like, nobody could really approach me. I was in a bad mood. I just wanted my alcohol. I didn't want to be wanted my cell phone. I'm just so used to all these things, and I'm like, now I have
Yep.
this structure. Like, who's the heck's going to have give me structure? And but it did something. It definitely I stopped being combative after like the first week and a half. I stopped fighting it, and I was just kind of accepting, like, well, I haven't had a drink in 9 days. This is one of the first times in my life that I haven't had a drink and didn't really, I'm actually okay. I'm still here. So uh, what they had me do on day 10 was write a goodbye letter to my sister, and that helped me process things. And for some reason, writing that in early sobriety was really important because it's the last thing I wanted to do, but it was my first step towards healing. I think my first step towards not just the healing, figuring out my alcoholism and getting rid of my addictions. It was more of like, finally, I'm processing something. Finally, I'm processing one of the toughest things that ever happened, something that I tried to ignore, something I tried to numb and push past. Here I am facing it head on a piece of paper, and I had to read it in front of the group. And after that, I don't know what happened, something spiritual or something happened, but I felt different. And I felt like recovery wasn't a threat to me. It was something that was actually like comforting to me. Like, recovery was going to be good for me and not scary. And I was scared to be sober because I didn't want to know what it's like to be myself. I didn't like myself until day 10 of rehab, which is really weird. And I started to like myself and I started to get comfortable in my own skin. And for the next 35 days, I people thought I worked at the Walker Center. People thought I was like an employee because I was so involved in like really so like trying to get to know every new person that came in, and I was really active. They elected me as one of the leaders in the group and stuff. It was just cool. Like, I started to really get comfortable being me and start to see the light and start to see maybe future looks pretty good here because I don't need to destroy my life anymore or destroy my relationships anymore. And those phone calls in early sobriety were really important. Those people that did pick up my phone call, and I thought everything would be perfect overnight, like most of us in recovery were just like, yeah, once we get sober, life's perfect. But I still had to make those amends, and some people weren't so accepting, and some people said it's going to take time, and some people
Yep.
told me to F off, and I'm just kind
Yep.
of I had to
And
live
that's
with it.
okay.
Yeah,
That's
I had to
okay.
live with it.
You did
I'm
your
like,
part.
I did my part. So early sobriety wasn't easy, but it did give me a chance to accept myself and like get comfortable with myself. And that once I got comfortable with myself and started to love myself just a little bit and be open minded, everything started to get easier. So early
It's
sobriety was interesting. Yeah.
it's interesting how you basically kind of what I heard, in a summation of what I heard, is those first 9 days, you were still carrying that big shield of victimhood. Why am I here? Why am I doing this? Even though I put myself here, leave me alone. I'm a victim to these circumstances. And you drop that rock, that shield with that letter, and just kind of said, okay, there's the world outside of me. Where, like, how can I add to it? Not what is it doing to me? How can I add to it?
How can I contribute
And
to this world? Yeah.
yeah, dude, that is such a freeing feeling.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's
It
such a freeing
was.
feeling.
It was. I felt so good that last month of treatment. I was eating every meal. I was going to sleep at the right time. I was starting to communicate better with my father, who we had a strained relationship. I was just things were already showing results really early. And I feel like that's the case for everybody if you look at things from a different perspective. Like maybe it's life's
Hmm.
still a pain in the butt and coming off of your addiction is a pain, but like things around you are getting better, I noticed. And once I saw those like little baby results here and there, and I was like, wait, okay, I don't have any drama in my life. People aren't mad at me. I don't have to apologize to anybody today. That those are results within itself. And I just started to build on that. And then when I got out of treatment, I just kind of continued. I'm like, I'm going back to meetings. I'm going to stick to a plan this time. I'm going to be more vocal about my problem and not try to hide it like I used to, because I'm an introvert. I'm an isolated person, which is weird for a podcaster being an introvert, I guess. But naturally, I just like to stick to myself in a lot of ways. And 6 months later, I started podcasting and wanted to share my story, and it kind of went from there. But early recovery was a learning experience, but I'm so glad that it was as hard as it was, but also as hard as it was, made it easier too, because every time I overcame something sober without resorting to the bottle, I felt so much more confident in myself. I'm sure you noticed that too. So,
100%. I mean,
yeah.
there's this reel, this viral reel that's going around that's been duplicated so many times. It's like, what's the greatest lie you've ever been told?
Yeah.
It's not that simple. Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. It is that simple. It's definitely not easy, but it
Yeah.
is that simple.
Yep. I love that
And it's
quote.
like I said, people like you and me who are intellectuals and analyticals, we
Yeah.
make it way more complex than it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I'm just
it's
dissecting everything and trying to figure out how this is
100%.
going to work. Yeah.
Yep. I was taking apart toasters when I was a little kid, and I love, how do
Same.
things work?
Me with
Both in a
electronics.
physical
Yeah.
way. Yeah, same.
Yeah.
The only
Yep.
thing I won't touch is HVAC, but other than that, I will take it apart and put it back together.
Yep. Same
Engines,
here.
houses,
Yeah.
whatever, doesn't matter.
Same.
Computers.
Yep. I love it.
Yeah.
It's I'm the same way. It occupies the mind, and I do it sober. I did it when I was drinking, but better sober.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I do that with things in life too. Just try to find the meaning in things and why things are happening. And I guess that makes me kind of philosophical in a lot of ways. But I just feel like
Hmm.
there's a reason for this. There's like it's like when I talk to people on my show about I just say I don't regret any of that stuff in the past because it all
Hmm.
shaped me into who we are today. So yeah,
100%.
yeah,
Like, I've made a few posts about like my previous restaurant life, and some people say it comes off as glamorizing, and I'm just telling my story and my perspective. But I'm glad I don't live like that anymore. People have inferred it's huge regret. No, I don't have any regrets. I lived through it. I am lucky to have been chosen by my higher power to live through that and relay my story. So no, almost died, a lot of stupid decisions, damaged relationships. I feel bad that they happened, and I feel bad for the people that I affected, but I've made my amends wherever possible, and I've moved forward. So yeah, agree with you 1,000%, dude. No regrets.
yeah. No regrets. It's kind of just provided a foundation for us to build on. I mean, it all taught us something, and we're strong individuals now. I think so.
Hmm.
It's important. So
Yeah, no, I entirely agree. So you're almost 2 years. How once you got out of treatment, how was that? Was there difficulties readjusting to life, or kind of just welcomed it with open arms and embraced the taking it on the chin here and there?
oh, there were moments I had. There was I mean, I love to practice the best. I think this is slightly on off topic, but on topic, but practicing honesty is one of my favorite things that I've done in recovery, because I used to just hide so many things. I used to come up with these elaborate stories to get away with drinking and hiding spots, and just my life was a lie. I even acted like I was happy when I wasn't. That's a lie. So
Yeah.
coming out of treatment, I felt really good just being honest. And if I had to be honest right now about some of the difficult days, there were 2 times where I pulled up to a mini mart in my 21 months, where I pulled up and just sat out there for a while, and I'm like, "What am I doing here?" But I still drove to a mini mart that I used to buy alcohol from, and I'm still sitting there. And so those moments were triggered by, in early sobriety, I would say they 6 months in or something, just by people feeling like things aren't coming easy enough at the pace I want them to, and it starts to get overwhelming. And I just got to the point where I didn't want to drink. I knew what the results would be, and I didn't touch a bottle, but my mind was at the point where I just want to like be close to it or something. And that's really scary that it's a comfort thing, but I did that a couple times, and I had talked to somebody close to me who is kind of like an unspoken sponsor, and just kind of told them like there's so many other things you can do that aren't even close to a mini mart. You just make that phone call, just reach for help, and somebody will be there. And I just don't think my problems that get me to that point are worth explaining to people, so I keep it in, and then
I can see that.
it makes you want to explode. So nowadays I do make that phone call. I've called people that have less sober time than me, and they've helped me like ridiculously. A guy with 1 day can help a guy with 10 years. It's pretty incredible. So there have been
100%.
moments. There have been some critical moments that I remember, in particular, where I felt like I was losing it a little bit, but I had this time around, I didn't use alcohol as the escape. I did use all the things we talked about in treatment, which was reach out to somebody, go to a meeting online. There's so many resources. So I just use those avenues finally, and now nothing seems difficult because I already have, it's like second nature now. When something stresses me out, which is very rare, I can manage my stress way better than I used to. But
Mhm.
as time goes on, but it's just now I know what to do. And you pick up a lot of skills in sobriety, and as you know, after almost 13 years are going on, and it's
Yeah.
you gradually you just pick up on it and become second nature. So
Yeah. I mean, not even 2 weeks ago, the thought popped into my head. I was going through some stressful stuff and just kind of compounded, and I was keeping it in. It's like the thought popped into my mind, dude, a drink sounds real good just to take the edge off right now. But I'm not going to act on it. I know where that goes. There's no value to it. It's not going to add anything to my life. But the thought still came, and to this day, and this is one thing that the argument, recovery or recovered.
yeah.
I I look at it, if you want to use it in the context of a disease. Can a diabetic ever truly recover? Nope. Can they have insulin like or eat sugar like a normal person? Nope, never.
Yep.
It's a chemical thing.
Exactly.
And to this day, somebody who drinks half a beer and lets it sit, or can like let the ice melt in a cocktail, doesn't make sense to me. It just doesn't. Like, what's the
Yeah.
point?
I know. I don't get it either.
Alcohol is for a buzz. If you want a non-alcoholic drink for the flavor, drink a non-alcoholic drink.
Yeah. If it's about the
Outside of
flavor.
that, there's not really much there. There's only one person, actually my brother, who can logically explain social or recreational drinking to me. He drinks very, very he's like 11 years younger than me. He was actually the first guest on this podcast, and he
I'll
said
have to
this.
check it
He
out.
drinks very, very high-end liquors, and only new ones. He will buy a bottle of something that he's never had before and have one, sometimes rarely two drinks in a night. He'll slowly drink that bottle over 6-month period, and then he'll never buy it again, and he'll buy something new.
Wow.
So
That's
that
kind
I
of
can
interesting.
understand for the
Yeah.
sake of taste.
Because he likes the flavor. He likes kind
Yeah.
of judging it, critiquing it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's
And
really
that's
cool. That's a
that's the
controlled
only
alcohol. That's a controlled, not even an alcoholic. That's just
yeah.
somebody a normie.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
and he saw me at some of my absolute worst times. He shared it with me some of my worst times. He never did blow with me, but he got into drugs a bit too. But now he recreationally uses alcohol.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't smoke
Yeah.
weed,
Yep.
any of that. He doesn't even go back to any of the powders or anything, which we've shared many times. But that doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah. I don't know
It
how
still
people can
doesn't.
control it like that. I mean,
But
I can't even.
that's okay. It doesn't need
I,
to. I have my
yeah.
story and I have my way that works for me, and it's built me a great life.
Yeah, I mean, I when I was in my addiction, I envied people that had that kind of control. Now that I'm sober, I still don't say I envy people because I love sobriety too much now that even the thought of alcohol disgusts me at this point. But I still like always just kind of was like, man, how do people have those couple of drinks and actually appreciate the drink and just set the bottle back down? That bottle is calling my name every
Yep.
time I set it down. So it's
I,
impressive.
I I have that same thing, that same thought, but also the other question: are they really enjoying it?
It's a good question. Are they really
I
into?
think like me,
Yeah,
man. I think it's are they
yeah,
doing that because it's the social thing to do? Are they
yeah,
really enjoying it?
yeah,
I don't know.
yeah.
Can
I don't know.
somebody stop at a point of a buzz and be like, "No, I'm good"? That doesn't make sense to me.
That doesn't make sense to me either. I got to add to this buzz, and I got to
Yeah.
forget what's going on, and I got to wake
Yep.
up tomorrow confused.
Yep.
Yeah.
If you're gonna do it all the way, or don't waste your time.
Go big or go home.
Bingo,
Yeah.
bingo, bingo. Yeah, I went
But
big
now
way
it's
too
go
many
big or go
times.
home in sobriety. I take
Mm-hmm.
everything in sobriety as seriously as I took my hiding my alcohol bottles, as much as I took
Mm-hmm.
driving and focusing while driving, which I regret and had DUI and everything. And now it's like we channel the energy and that devotion just to something positive, and life gets so much easier.
Yeah. I rebuild an engine for my duck boat. I remodel our bathroom. I put my energy into my job. It's like I put my energy
Exactly.
into my family.
Your
I love
family,
those
you're more
things. Yeah.
present father and husband
Mm-hmm.
probably, and it's like all these things just work themselves out. So
They
keep
certainly do. I mean, it
it's
ain't
awesome.
easy all the time. Definitely not. But
No.
I'm present. I'm capable, and I'm aware, and I know when to ask for help when I need it.
Yeah,
Like the
exactly.
blessings and the gifts that sobriety has given me compare to nothing in life before this, and they keep giving.
Yeah, exactly. The gifts keep
So,
coming. I
uh-huh.
mean, the rewards are just every day waking up is a reward. Like I just think to myself when I wake up in the morning with no hangover and I'm capable of
Right.
going to do things, that to me is like a gift within itself because I used to just have so many things I would have to accomplish to get out of bed drinking wise in order to like stop the shakes so I could put my contacts in and aim to go to the bathroom. All these simple tasks that I made so difficult due to addiction. And now it's like I can wake up so comfortably and feel great and go to bed at a decent time. And I'm just like, this
Yeah.
is good. I want everybody to experience that. Anybody out there who's struggling to experience
I
that.
agree 1,000%, man. From keeping a plastic pint on my nightstand because if I knocked it over, it wouldn't break, or if I was awake, it was in my back pocket.
Yeah.
But if I dropped it, it wouldn't break. That's why I like the plastic charcoal
We were
filtered
always
cheap
we were
real
always
man's
smart
vodka.
planning that out. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I
Yep.
knew it. I
Yep.
knew it.
Yep. I would get
But
the
yeah,
bags of wine so I could, as I drank it, I could compress it into a smaller hiding spot.
well, you know the funny thing is, if you ever go camping, just drink it all and blow it up, and you got a pillow.
There you go. It's a double double purpose. Yeah. That's a good point.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're coming up on an hour, man. Is there anything else that you'd like to add that we didn't touch on?
Um, yeah, I just want to say I'm grateful for being on the show and us being able to do this together, and really happy that for anybody out there, me, you, anybody out there that's getting their voice out there is incredible because everybody out there that's still struggling, I think, needs to hear it. And for people struggling out there, if there are resources, there's people that will help. Do not give up on yourself. You know, they're the people that you surround yourself with that love you, they will stick around and they will wait for you. And just there is hope. There's hope for everyone out there. So it's not just about addiction, just anything you're going through. So and you can always reach me too on my Instagram, DM me, I will respond. And yeah, that's about it. But I just appreciate being on and being able to share more of my story because I don't get to share as often because I'm usually interviewing people. So it's nice to be able to tell you some things I hadn't talked about before. Like hallucinations are embarrassing to talk about, that you drank to the point of hallucinations. I don't think a lot of people got audible hallucinations, but I did, and they were scary. So it's nice to be able to kind of be vulnerable myself too.
I very much appreciate it, dude. It's a blessing and a privilege to have you on my podcast. I mean, with my whole podcasting career being now episode 11, I very much appreciate it, dude.
Thank you.
And I'm so glad that you responded. We connected, and now next week I'm gonna have the opportunity to be on yours because
I'm
I
excited for
haven't
that.
been on any, so this will be
Stay
fun.
tuned. Stay tuned.
Oh,
We're gonna have you
definitely.
on. Yep. I'm
Uh,
excited.
Tell the guests where to find you. I know you're on Instagram, Rock Bottom with Ryan, and wherever else you are.
YouTube, Rock Bottom with Ryan. You can find me on TikTok, Rock Bottom with Ryan. All the first letter of each word is capital, and then on Instagram, Rock Bottom with Ryan, and my alternate account, No More Shaky Mornings. I talk about the shakes a lot. That's my alternate account, but it also talks about, I'm a sneakerhead, so I collect shoes. So it talks about, I have some pictures of those, but I also incorporate a little bit of my sober content in there too. And yeah, and then shout out to Sober Strong Apparel. They've been sponsoring my show for quite a while, so shout out to them if anybody's interested in some sober clothes. So yeah, but thank you so much for anybody who listened. And you know, there's I think this too shall pass to anybody who's struggling out there. So I love that quote.
The good, the bad, the ugly, and the indifferent, this too shall pass. I couldn't agree more.
Thanks for
awesome.
having me on.
Ryan, thank you again. Thank you everybody for listening. Crash Podcast brought to you by Bjorn from Hold My NA Beer on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. And you can find this podcast on Spotify, Apple Music, Audible, Amazon Music, and the real version on YouTube. So please, please, please check it out. Like, comment, subscribe, share, spread to everybody you know. And especially the people who may or may not need help, because it could be you.
Yeah.
Ryan, thank you.
Thank you so much. Can't wait to have you on the show.
I can't wait to be on it, dude. Appreciate it.
Excited.
Peace.